Ever wondered why today's trucks feel more like finely tuned machines of brute force and precision than just utility vehicles? Why your heavy-duty pickup can tow a house, climb a mountain, or serve as a mobile office without breaking a sweat? The answer lies not in the latest model year, but in a turning point over 2 decades ago, 1999, when Ford unleashed a game-changer, the Super Duty. It wasn't just a new truck, it was a bold declaration that the world of workhorses had evolved. What followed wasn't merely an upgrade in torque or towing numbers. It was a revolution that redefined how we build, use, and even imagine trucks. From the construction site to the open highway, the Ford Super Duty left a mark that continues to shape every heavy-duty pickup that rolls off the line today. Before the Super Duty, the lines between a light-duty truck and a heavy-duty one were blurry. Sure, you had big V8s and bigger frames, but the idea of a true factory-built heavy-duty pickup, engineered from the ground up to haul, tow, and endure, hadn't fully matured. The F-150 ruled the road, but there was a growing demand for something tougher, something built for the ranchers, contractors, haulers, and doers who needed a truck that didn't flinch under pressure. Ford saw it coming. And in 1999, it answered the call with a separate, purpose-built platform that would become the Super Duty. This wasn't a beefed-up F-150, it was a new breed altogether. The impact of the Super Duty's arrival can't be overstated. For the first time, Ford created a truck line specifically engineered for heavy-duty performance, not just upgraded, but fundamentally different from its light-duty siblings. With the F-250 and F-350, buyers got rugged ladder frames, solid front axles, and big-block gasoline V10s or the now legendary 7.3-liter power-stroke turbo diesel. These weren't just bigger engines. They were power plants tuned for real-world stress. Farmers could pull heavier trailers. Builders could load more gear. And weekend warriors found they could haul fifth-wheel campers across the Rockies without hesitation. The Super Duty didn't just meet expectations, it expanded them. But the genius of the Super Duty wasn't just under the hood or below the frame. It was in the thinking. This was a truck designed not just for strength, but for serviceability, durability, and endurance. Everything was overbuilt: axles, transmissions, cooling systems. You weren't just buying a truck, you were buying peace of mind. And for the first time, the cab experience in a work-focused truck didn't feel like an afterthought. Ford brought comfort, convenience, and a sense of confidence to a segment that had previously focused purely on toughness. It proved that strength didn't have to come at the cost of sophistication. The results spoke volumes. The Super Duty quickly became the go-to truck for those who demanded more. And as it gained traction, the rest of the industry took note. Soon, GM and Dodge were scrambling to redesign their heavy-duty offerings, introducing models like the Silverado HD and the Ram Heavy Duty to stay competitive. But they weren't just reacting to the specs. They were responding to a new expectation set by the Super Duty. Bigger payloads, stronger frames, refined interiors, technology with a purpose. The blueprint had been drawn, and it had Ford's fingerprints all over it. Even today, if you pop the hood of a 2025 heavy-duty pickup and trace the roots of its components and layout, you'll find echoes of the 1999 Super Duty. Take towing, for example. The idea of integrated trailer brake controllers, heavy-duty hitches, and factory-installed towing mirrors all stem from Ford's early focus on professional-grade readiness. These were once optional upgrades or aftermarket necessities. Now, they're standard because Ford made them so. Look at the cab design: spacious interiors, modular upfitter switches, crew cab versatility. All of that? Super Duty territory. The modern truck driver expects a balance of strength and sophistication because Ford proved they could have both. But the Super Duty's legacy isn't just about parts and specs. It's about inspiration. It inspired a shift in how we define a work truck. It showed the world that hard work and high design could coexist. It taught engineers that capability didn't have to come wrapped in compromise. It gave rise to a new generation of truck owners, those who saw their vehicles not just as tools, but as partners in ambition. Whether you're hauling lumber, towing equipment, or just navigating the demands of modern life, the Super Duty philosophy runs deep in every full-size truck on the market. There's also something more personal about the Super Duty's impact. For many, it's not just a truck, it's a symbol. A badge of capability. You don't just drive a Super Duty, you command it. It turns heads at the job site, earns nods of respect at the diesel pump, and carries with it a reputation forged over decades of uncompromising performance. Owners don't brag about trim levels. They brag about mileage, loads, and what their truck has conquered. There's pride in that. And pride in the truck world is priceless. Over the years, the Super Duty has evolved, integrating new technology, advanced materials, and even smarter engines. Aluminum bodies, 10-speed transmissions, adaptive cruise, and Pro Power onboard systems are now part of the experience. Yet, underneath the innovation, the soul remains unchanged. That original Super Duty DNA, the belief in doing more, hauling bigger, lasting longer, still drives every decision. And that's the true impact. When a design philosophy is so strong, so purposeful, that it lives on in generation after generation, you know you're looking at more than just a successful model. You're looking at a legend. And that legend keeps growing. Because even as electric trucks begin to enter the picture and new drivetrain options emerge, the Super Duty spirit will adapt. It's not about gas or diesel or electric, it's about doing the job. Whatever shape future trucks take, you can bet they'll owe a debt to what Ford started back in 1999. The industry changed forever that year, and it hasn't looked back since. So next time you walk past a 2025 heavy-duty pickup loaded to the brim and hauling down the road with confidence, take a second to remember where it all began. Not with marketing or hype, but with a machine built to work harder and last longer. From its bold grille to its beefed-up frame, the 1999 Ford Super Duty wasn't just a new chapter in truck design, it was a new era. An era where work ethic met engineering, where toughness met thoughtfulness, and where a truck became more than transportation, it became inspiration. The story of the Ford Super Duty is one of vision, grit, and evolution. When it debuted in 1999, it wasn't just the arrival of a new truck. It was the birth of a titan that would go on to shape the entire heavy-duty landscape for decades to come. The Super Duty didn't ease into the scene, it landed like a thunderclap. From the first glance, it was clear that this wasn't just another pickup. The bold grille, squared-off frame, and towering stance all broadcasted the same message: this truck meant business. It was a tool built for those who didn't have time for compromise. And while the competition scrambled to keep up, Ford surged ahead, armed with purpose-built engineering and a diesel engine that would become the stuff of legend. That engine, the now revered 7.3-liter Power-Stroke V8 turbo diesel, wasn't just an option, it was a statement. With over 500 lb-ft of torque and rock-solid dependability, it quickly became the heart of the Super Duty's identity. In the late 90s and early 2000s, the 7.3L earned a reputation as nearly indestructible. It was the kind of engine that ran clean at 500,000 miles, started without hesitation in sub-zero temperatures, and could haul enormous payloads without breaking a sweat. You didn't need to baby it. You just put it to work, and it worked harder than anything else on the road. Landscapers, haulers, farmers, and fleet operators fell in love because it gave them something they hadn't seen before: uncompromising, dependable torque wrapped in a truck that was engineered specifically for the toughest jobs. And that wasn't all. The first generation of Super Duty trucks came out swinging with a dedication to capability that left other pickups in the dust. With rugged solid axles, reinforced frames, and higher GVWR ratings than light-duty trucks could dream of, the Super Duty was built to carry, tow, and endure like nothing before it. Suddenly, hauling a horse trailer, fifth-wheel camper, or multi-ton construction trailer didn't require a medium-duty commercial rig. You just needed a Super Duty. It became the go-to for anyone who lived their life at full throttle, whose work was demanding, whose weekends were adventurous, and who wanted one truck that could do it all. The success of that first generation laid the groundwork for a new way of thinking about trucks, not just as utility vehicles, but as purpose-built machines tailored to real-world, heavy-duty use. Ford had separated the Super Duty from its F-150 sibling not only in name, but in philosophy. The platform stood alone, and as it evolved through the 2000s and 2010s, It never strayed from its original promise: strength without compromise. As the market evolved and technology surged forward, so did the Super Duty. The 7.3L Power Stroke eventually gave way to more powerful and efficient generations, including the 6.0L, 6.4L, and eventually the mighty 6.7L Power Stroke V8 turbo diesel. Each new iteration brought more horsepower, more torque, and better fuel economy, while staying true to the platform's roots in raw capability. The 6.7L Power Stroke, in particular, was a game changer. With over 1,200 lb-ft of torque in its latest form, it gave drivers not just the ability to tow massive loads, but to do so with quiet refinement and confidence. The engine wasn't just powerful, it was smart, efficient, and designed from the ground up by Ford engineers to dominate the diesel truck segment. But engine evolution was just the beginning. Ford understood that to lead the segment, you had to innovate across the board. Suspension technology saw major upgrades, including the use of the torsion beam front axle for better load distribution and a smoother ride, and the Dana AD rear axle for increased rear-end strength and stability under maximum payload. The result? A truck that didn't just pull more, it pulled smarter. Drivers noticed the difference immediately. Whether maneuvering a loaded trailer down a mountain grade or navigating a tight worksite, the Super Duty delivered poise and precision unheard of in the heavy-duty space. And then came the tech. While competitors were still banking on brute strength alone, Ford was quietly integrating a suite of driver assist features that transformed the experience behind the wheel. Adaptive cruise control, blind spot monitoring, lane keeping assist. These were features once reserved for luxury sedans, now available on a machine that could tow 30,000 pounds. It was an audacious move, but it paid off. The Super Duty wasn't just strong, it was smart. And in the process, it redefined what heavy-duty trucks could be. No longer was capability enough. Comfort, safety, and connectivity had become essential parts of the equation. Fast forward to today, and the Super Duty's legacy is written in steel, torque, and tire marks across every highway and job site in America. It continues to set the benchmark, not just for towing and hauling, but for how a heavy-duty truck should feel, function, and serve its driver. Ford's innovations, once radical, have become the new standard. Integrated trailer brake controllers, trailer sway control, hill start assist, rear-view camera guidance systems for hooking up fifth wheels. These are now expected features because Ford made them accessible and effective. And just when you think the Super Duty can't push the envelope further, it does. The recent introduction of Pro Power on board, for instance, turned the truck into a mobile generator, capable of powering tools, appliances, or even an entire worksite directly from the truck bed. Suddenly, the Super Duty wasn't just a vehicle, it was infrastructure. For contractors, off-grid adventurers, and first responders, that kind of capability is game-changing. It blurs the line between machine and solution. And that's what the Super Duty has always been about, not just answering a question, but solving a problem before you know you have it. It's no surprise that Ford's rivals have followed suit, drawing inspiration from the Super Duty's platform, feature set, and market strategy. GM's Silverado HD, Ram's heavy-duty lineup, and even new players in the space have all adopted elements pioneered by the Super Duty. But despite the competition, the original still holds its ground, and not by chance. It's because Ford keeps improving it without forgetting where it came from. And where it came from is as impressive as where it's going. From the factory floor in Kentucky where these titans are assembled, to the ranches, highways, and fire lines they serve, Super Duty trucks are everywhere. And they're not pampered, they're used. Worked hard. Pushed to the edge. That's how you know the legacy is real. These trucks aren't parked as trophies. They're running in the dirt, hauling steel beams, dragging tree trunks, and surviving the kind of punishment that would sideline lesser machines. That kind of reliability isn't engineered in a lab, it's earned in the real world, one tough mile at a time. But beyond the stats and the steel, the Super Duty has become something bigger. It's part of our culture. It's in the movies, the music videos, and the memories of countless families who relied on their Super Duty to tow the boat, haul the camper, or move cross-country. It's the truck in the background of every barn raising and the hero of every roadside rescue. It symbolizes more than power. It represents trust, grit, and a uniquely American attitude that values work, independence, and resilience. And that spirit has built a community. Across forums, meetups, and job sites, there's a bond among Super Duty owners that's rooted in shared experience. They swap stories, share advice, and speak the same language of payloads, torque curves, and diesel maintenance. Because when you drive a Super Duty, you're not just part of a segment, you're part of a legacy. One that respects the past, masters the present, and constantly pushes into the future. That future looks brighter than ever. With electrification on the horizon and new materials and technologies reshaping what trucks can be, Ford is already preparing the next chapter in the Super Duty saga. But no matter how advanced the powertrain becomes or how digital the dashboard gets, the soul of the Super Duty remains untouched. It's about answering the call, whether that's a job, an adventure, or a challenge that others walk away from. In a world of constant change, some things still matter: strength, reliability, and doing what you say you'll do. The Super Duty embodies those values with every bolt, weld, and gallon of diesel. It's not just a truck, it's a statement. A reminder that while trends come and go, some things, like hard work and great design, never go out of style. From its 1999 roots to its modern dominance, the Ford Super Duty isn't just a piece of engineering history, it's a living legend. A titan forged in steel, powered by innovation, and driven by the needs of people who expect nothing less than the best. And that, more than any feature or spec, is what makes the Super Duty truly super.